We joined actually a couple of programs already. We've been in 3 accelerators. The first one was focusing completely on AI perspective, which was locally based here in Hamburg. So that was really technically driven. And then we have been at MTEA, which is, of course, the opposite of it, completely music focused. And then we have all these great accelerators program with Amplitude now, which are even a bit different perspective. It's mixing music and venture capital, somehow raising money. So it's, again, a new perspective where we need to grow as well because we're first-time founders.
Sound of Startups podcast is hosted by Taj, produced by Amplitude Ventures, your partner in early-stage startups.
This episode is part of a special music tech series at the Slush Accelerator Program 2025, organized and sponsored by Amplitude Ventures. Brought to you by Singa, with support from the Yamaha Music Innovation Fund.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Sound of Startups. Today I have with me someone joining from Germany with a company name called AIDAR, and they have two founders of the co-founders of the company, Janek and Casper. I'm today joined by Janek, and Janek and Casper are interesting people from the perspective that they do not come from music industry per se. Both of them are academician. In fact, Janek is a PhD, and his thesis or his PhD dissertation focused on something which is very interesting and important for music, and that's where he continued with PhD program ahead and chose to make a startup out of it, and that was very interesting. So basically, we have an academicians who are ending up in a music industry. And with that, allow me to welcome Janek. Hi, Janek.
Thanks a lot, Taj. I'm really excited to be here.
Perfect. So let's start it with Janek. Who are you and what do you do and where do you come from?
Yeah, as you already said, it's a bit complicated to explain myself because I'm not the standard music-driven guy sitting here in that kind of podcast. Instead, you could say I'm a bit like a duck. Ducks can kind of dive, they can swim a bit, and they can even fly a bit. So it's a mixture of everything, and that's kind of what describes me best because I don't know, I studied industrial engineering and management, worked for an aircraft industry company, and then switched over to the PhD, which you mentioned already, doing research on platform economics in the music industry, kind of having a look how pro rata and user-centering is affecting the industry, how COVID changed the music industry, and so on. And that's kind of how I dove into this whole music industry by chance, actually.
Okay, this is very new. Industrial engineer with aircraft maintenance, and then PhD, and then music. Okay, and then you're saying it happened by chance. Oh, and you don't do PhD by chance. You do PhD by thought. How did that happen?
I'd say even the PhD was by chance because my old professor just called me and said, hey, there's an open position that kind of suits your profile. Don't you want to have a look? And yeah, the next day I kind of quit my job and changed to that side. And that's where our whole journey kind of began because I was really deep into musical data, into musical platform economics kind of. And it evolved as a hobby for me. Next to the PhD, I got in touch with indie labels, with some booking agencies and so on. And we kind of thought, how can we use all these great technologies, which we're applying at the university, also for companies, for their benefits? And that's how it all started.
Okay, I'll just go deep into the PhD because this is where everything was born. So what was your PhD thesis title? What did you do? What was the process? And what was an outcome of your PhD program?
It was all about platform economics in the music industry. So it was empirical research. We investigated different musical data that we collected from different places and we got from some companies as well to analyze. As you probably have heard, nowadays PhDs are more based on several papers, several independent studies, if you want to say so. So for example, the main study was where we investigated remuneration models, like how is pro rata, how is user-centric actually affecting the industry? Do we have some changes in revenue flows depending on which kind of remuneration model we apply to the industry, how does it affect the outcome, the support of single artists based on genre, for example? Because I don't know, if you want to go deep, we could say a lot of young people are listening to this pop music nowadays, and so there are a lot of clicks and streams generated. And if you have a pro rata-centric model, it might be that those young people are not paying the most, but other people are paying most, which are more listening to, for example, classical music. But due to the pro rata streaming system, revenue is now shifted from those high-paying classical music listeners to the lower-paying but higher streaming pop listeners, right? And so you have kind of a substitution of money flowing inside of the industry depending on the remuneration model. Does it make sense?
That was too PhD. But I understand what you're trying to say. And what was the outcome of your thesis? Finally, what did it turn out to be?
It's hard to say there's this one outcome. For me personally, it was more getting into that industry, which is really interesting. I've seen several industries during my career now, and I have to say, especially working with people inside of the music industry is something special. It's not like you're wearing sweet suits and all that stuff. It's really also the whole level, how you deal with each other is a different in the music industry, one that I like a lot and want to stick to.
Okay, that makes me the questions. What is so special of the music people that you like?
I'd say it's more cooperative. It's more interested in each other. There's more freedom. It's not always so business driven. You're not always just focusing on the profit to make a decision to do something. So it's way less business driven, and decisions are not always 100% business driven. Of course, you need to differentiate in the industry as well, because we do have some indies where we might see a bit more of these passion and ideals, and we have the majors as well, which might be a bit more business driven as well. I don't want to say it overall, but in general, probably there might be some tendencies in these areas.
Okay, with this, let me ask, what is AIDAR? What does it do?
AIDAR is AI-driven A&R. I mean, probably you don't hear it directly, and yeah, there are so many different phrases you could use to name AIDAR. But what we do as a core is we help you to find what or who you're looking for. It's all about the first part of the A&R process. I mean, A&R is quite a wide field, a big field, starting from the whole discovery, scouting part, finding fresh talent that has potential and fits your needs, your visions, going over to the whole negotiation, signing part. When you found someone, you need to sign them, bring them under contract, and finally, the whole development part. So the A&R spectrum is big, and we focus completely on this first step, on the finding fresh talent. So it's kind of the core of all music companies that somehow rely on fresh talent to maintain the business. Maybe to give you an example how it works and what we do, all we do is we ask one simple question. What kind of artist are you looking for? And then you have a text field, and you can prompt, you can say, describe whatever you're looking for. So let's say I'm looking for female emerging artists from Britain that are in the electronic area and that are well suited for a nice chilled day at the beach. Then our agent would kind of take this prompt, take out the information which is necessary to kind of give a good recommendation, is setting up first models for you individually, and by that is then able to give you a first artist recommendation. So we show you one artist with the whole profile. You can listen to the music, you can see all the stats, how they developed, how they released what, with when, with whom, when. You kind of see all the stats on social media. You get a complete artist profile to understand the artist. And then we ask you to rate the artist. Just thumbs up, thumbs down. And by this, we're able to learn more about you, more about your interest. Because the more artists you rate, the better we kind of understand your scouting interest and are then able to improve our suggestions, recommending better and better fitting artists to you, exactly matching what you need, what you're looking for.
Okay, how does this work? You just type a regular description like as an ordinary person, and then it starts pulling off the result. Is that like that?
It's that easy, yeah. You just type in whatever you're looking for, and that could be anything. I mean, if we have a look at the industry, we're not just doing that for record labels, which are more looking for artists for a long-term career. You could also use it in the live sector as a booker or booking agency. It always depends what you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for artists that may fit a special festival. You're looking for artists that are similar to a specific artist. You're looking for artists that have big growth at the moment. So whatever it is that you're interested in, you can kind of prompt it in. You can add it via chat, or you could just rate artists. And we have these two channels kind of to get a deep understanding of what you need. And the big beauty is, as soon as we understand you, as soon as we have a deep understanding of your scouting profile, we're now able to observe the market for you. So instead of you going back to your playlists and all the charts which you check manually, we kind of do it for you, and we do the pre-filtering for you, what artists you should have a look at and which not.
Okay, so who are your customers in that way?
It's a wide range. We started with our ideal customer profile being a record label, because there you have the typical A&Rs looking for artist contents constantly. But now that we're so widely positioned that you can just prompt in whatever you're looking for, we kind of serve everyone that's looking for fresh talent. And that could be in the live industry, that could be publishers, that could be libraries. All of these companies were already customers of us, using this system in a completely different way, always mimicking exactly their personal need, their personal angles and their visions, because you can really define what you're looking for and what not.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, moving on from the product, you talked about Casper, how you met the Casper. Now, question is, how has the journey been till now, from the day you started?
Extremely exciting. I mean, it's startup life every day. It's ups, it's downs. It's just crazy if you want so. And it's extremely good to have a strong partner on your side. On our side, Casper and me, we kind of separate topic-wise, because he takes more focus on the customer, on the business side, whereas I take over the technical part, doing the machine learning, the data science, if you want so, the programming. So we're a quite strong team, substituting each other exactly the way it should be.
Okay, so how was your experience with these accelerator programs? What have you learned there? How are they benefiting you?
We joined actually a couple of programs already. We've been in 2 or 3 accelerators. The first one was focusing completely on AI perspective, which was locally based here in Hamburg. So that was really technically driven. And then we have been at MTEA, which is of course the opposite of it, completely music focused. And then we have all these great accelerators program with Amplitude now, which are even a bit different perspective. It's mixing music and venture capital, somehow raising money. So it's again a new perspective where we need to grow as well, because we're first-time founders. So the whole part of raising money and building a sustainable company of it, or going into an exit, depending on what you're looking for, is a new world for us as well. And there it's extremely nice to have a partner on your side that can help you with information, knowledge, experience, but also on the product side, having Amplitude not just as someone that's supporting you on the venture side, but also in the product side is extremely handy.
Okay, so now specifically, what are you looking forward to Slush, Music Tech at Slush Accelerator Program 2025? What do you look for?
We're in the middle of the round. We now got this public funding round, which is great, from Germany, but we need to raise some extra money for it to kind of unlock it, and that's what we're in the middle of. So our core point right now is really to get some additional business angel bridge funding for this public round.
What do you think is very important to have a good partnership and team?
We have been friends before, so you could always say it's a risk for your friendship, but you could also say there's a strong fundament already for all the crises and also positive things which will or most likely will happen. So I think having someone that you can really trust is extremely important, because you're opening everything, you're investing a lot on all sides, on effort, but also money-wise, of course, financially, that you go all in this one project. I mean, we could have really great positions in the normal industry, have a great life, but instead we say, no, we don't want to earn money right now. It's no salary that we're really taking. Instead, we're investing every day, everything we have. So you need to have strong partners to really succeed, I'm sure.
That's quite fantastic. And see, there is so much of AI coming in. Do you think you guys will be able to sustain with so much of AI things that are happening? Why don't you think you would be outwitted very soon by someone? Another PhD.
I mean, 2 weeks ago or so, ChatGPT announced that they were cooperating with Spotify. And of course, as I heard it, my heart was shaking a bit. I have to be completely honest. I mean, they completely focus on the consumer side, and the data we analyze and all that stuff is really special in a way. So I think it will be hard for companies like OpenAI probably ever to go in such a detailed level where we're really focusing on specific aspects and generating special solutions for a small market. I mean, it could happen, but I doubt it. And that's probably also part of the startup industry, right? So it's the fun part as well in a negative way.
How is the German startup ecosystem in terms of music?
The German ecosystem is solid, I'd say. But I wouldn't focus on the German system because especially the music tech industry or group is really nice. You meet the same people again and again on conferences. You really get into deeper talks. You kind of it's a kind of a family, I'd say, because after some years you know each other and you know what the others are doing. You can support each other. You have great connections. That's something I like a lot. The size of the whole music tech industry, because you can get to know other people and work together. You can cooperate. It's a nice size, I'd say, to really know each other and grow on each other.
That's a beautiful word. That's a beautiful word that you use. Know each other, grow with each other. And when you meet the same people again and again, you sort of know in and out. And that's what the basis of at least the music industry per se is. I think that this was a very well thought of. Relationship building is an important part of this industry. And obviously the business must happen. That's a rule of the game. So I think so with that, this was fantastic. With that, Janek, I think we really look forward to having you at Music Tech at Slush Accelerator Program 2025. And we wish you best of luck and see you in Helsinki then.
Thanks a lot, Tash. Looking forward.
Okay, thank you everyone. That was Janek, and hope to see you the next startup and the upcoming episode. See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.